Welcome to the kickoff meeting for the New York Affordable Housing Competition Project. Congratulations, team. It is important that we are not only the architects of the project, but also hold other responsibilities. So let's get right in and talk business. Sophie, how are you thinking about this in terms of hiring?
With our new 30-hour work week, it looks like we have the capacity to bring on 3 new people with a team. This cycle, we will start with our application process, and we'll be bringing on people to be compensated for emotional, creative, and managerial labor. The application will include past experiences, a personal statement, portfolio growth, and an optional skill share, and will be posted on our community partners and diverse job boards. Our new hires will have an onboarding process, a shadowing period, and then we will come together for a community workshop to update our office values. Stephen, does this fit into our financial policies?
Yes, I'm working on a checklist for the financial policies we want to stick to. They are ensuring that all parties and stakeholders are properly compensated for time and effort, transparency of how and where project is funded, performance will be evaluated through an equity policy, have sensibilities towards the general budget. We make sure that not to utilize all the designated budget and ensure that the project has a determined excess funding in case of issues that arise. Also, how physically sustainable is the project? I will not rely on private investment, ensuring that the project does not apply economic risk to parties and stakeholders. Jacob, what do you think about the existing site and how can we meet the city's project goals?
Due to its long-standing history as a part of the urban fabric of New York City, both as public housing and its designation as a National Historic Landmark, I would say our first step should be to do an in-depth analysis of the buildings on the site, spatially, structurally, and within the community. The main issues here are resident displacement, gentrification, and community engagement in relation to the outdoor openly accessible public space. We need to hold meetings and understand from current residents and neighbors their take on the redevelopment of this site. Once we have all of this data and information, we can make a case to the city against the total demolition of the existing buildings, while also highlighting how we are still meeting their vision objectives for the site. This decision will also affect the material innovation and procurement. Any thoughts on this, Mahsa?
Yes, we will take our team to do a full analysis of the existing conditions and available materials so we get a sense of how much we want to demolish, renovate, and salvage. I will also call local demolition companies and contractors to see if they have any leftover materials we can use. As usual, we should allocate as much time necessary for this research in the early stages of the project. In the meantime, we will look at some of our reversible assembly details and select the ones we think fit our proposal and budget. Once all that is done, we will put together the material passports with instructions and liability schedules to ensure our building materials are reusable. Also, we need to have a strong plan for quality control. Emma, how do you plan to keep the process as transparent as possible?
So we'll have an honest and extensive research during the design phase of the estimated amount of embodied characters like energy, carbon, and labor, making sure that our firm standards of embodiment levels cannot be passed. And this transparency will extend not just to the client, but also to the building tenants as they use the building. And this will be through the building passport so that the greater amount of information will be provided to all parties involved. As the design team, we'll work with the contractors to create the best platform for this. And finally, after the build project is complete, our team will continue to research as the building's lifespan increases and evolves. Abirami, how does the communications team plan to work with the rest of the teams in order to make sure that their ideas are transparent?
I'm thinking of the workflow in 2 phases. In the first phase, we would create an internal manifesto to set an organizational structure for the entire project. This could then be used in the RFP stages for different consultants so that we can work with people who are aligned with our thoughts and ideas. In the second phase, we'll work on public programming for the community residents and the different stakeholders to work with our different teams in the process of reimagining what if affordable housing can become in the climate of the overlapping crisis of public health, inequality, and racism. Looks like we have a lot to do. Let's go get to it.